Your body is designed to move in ways you've completely forgotten. Right now, as you watch this video, your joints are slowly stiffening, your fascia is tightening, and your mobility is declining. But here's the shocking truth. It doesn't have to be this way. In the next 20 minutes, I'm going to show you how simple, ancient movements can reverse years of damage and add decades to your active life. Let's start with an uncomfortable reality. The average person sits for 13 hours a day. Your ancestors? They sat for maybe 3 hours. This isn't just a lifestyle difference, it's a biological catastrophe. Every hour you spend sitting, your hip flexors shorten, your glutes forget how to activate, and your spine compresses under unnatural pressure. But here's what makes this truly dangerous. Your body adapts to what you do most. Sit all day, and your body literally reshapes itself around that position. Your chest caves in, your shoulders round forward, and your hips lock up. Within just 2 weeks of excessive sitting, measurable changes occur in your muscle fiber composition. The muscles you need for movement start converting to a type that's optimized for doing nothing. Now, here's where it gets interesting. You might think the solution is hitting the gym for an hour after sitting all day. But research shows something surprising. 1 hour of exercise cannot undo 8 hours of sitting. It's called the active couch potato phenomenon. You can run marathons and still have the metabolic markers of a sedentary person if you sit the rest of the day. Traditional societies don't have this problem, and it's not because they exercise more. They simply never stop moving. They squat while cooking, sit on the floor while eating, kneel while working, and transition between positions hundreds of times daily. Their secret isn't intensity, it's variety and frequency. A landmark study followed 2 communities in India, one rural, one urban. Both groups ate similar diets and had comparable genetics. The difference? The rural community maintained traditional floor-sitting practices. By age 70, the rural group had 40% better hip mobility, 35% stronger leg muscles, and significantly lower rates of knee and hip replacements. The urban group, who adopted chair sitting, showed mobility patterns identical to elderly populations in Western countries. Most people think they're inflexible because of genetics or age. Wrong. You're inflexible because you've trained yourself to be. Every time you avoid a movement because it's uncomfortable, you're teaching your nervous system that this position is dangerous. Over time, your brain actually restricts your range of motion as a protective mechanism. Here's a fascinating example. Watch any toddler. They drop into perfect deep squats, sit in full lotus position, and hang from bars with ease. They're not more flexible than you because of youth. Their tissues are actually less developed. What they have is unrestricted movement patterns. No fear, no compensation, no movement debt. But somewhere between childhood and adulthood, we lose this. We stop sitting on the floor because chairs are more comfortable. We stop squatting because it feels too hard. We avoid stretching because we're not flexible enough. Each avoidance reinforces the restriction, creating a downward spiral of lost mobility. The good news? Your brain is plastic. It can relearn. Studies show that adults who return to floor-sitting practices can regain near complete mobility within 6 to 12 months, regardless of their starting point. The key is consistency and patience. Let me introduce you to the most overlooked system in your body, fascia. This is the connective tissue that wraps around every muscle, organ, and nerve. Think of it as a full-body spiderweb of tissue. When you move regularly through full ranges of motion, fascia stays hydrated, supple, and slippery, but when you're sedentary, it becomes sticky, dense, and restricted. Here's the critical part. Fascia has more nerve endings than muscles. That stiffness you feel isn't actually tight muscles. It's fascial restriction triggering pain signals. This is why static stretching often doesn't work. You can't stretch fascia. You need to hydrate it through movement. Recent research using ultrasound imaging shows that just 10 minutes of varied movement causes measurable changes in fascial thickness and hydration. But here's the catch. Sitting for 2 hours completely reverses those benefits. Your fascia needs constant movement variation throughout the day, not just one flexibility session. let's talk about something that might change your life. Get off the furniture. I'm serious. The simple act of sitting on the floor instead of a chair activates more muscles, improves hip mobility, and strengthens your core without any conscious effort. When you sit on the floor, your body must constantly make micro adjustments to maintain balance. Your core activates, your hips work through varied ranges of motion, and your ankles remain mobile. Plus, getting up and down from the floor is one of the best predictors of longevity. A study of over 2,000 adults found that those who could sit on the floor and stand up without using their hands had a significantly lower risk of all-cause mortality. The researchers developed a simple test. Sit on the floor and stand up using as few support points as possible. Each support point you need, hand, knee, forearm, side of leg, subtracts 1 point from a score of 10. Participants who scored 8 or higher had 1/5 the mortality rate of those scoring 3 or lower. This isn't about strength. It's about functional mobility, your ability to control your body through space without compensation. And the beautiful thing, you can improve this score at any age by simply practicing the movement. Deep squats deserve special attention because they're the most complete lower body position. When performed correctly, a deep squat mobilizes your ankles, knees, hips, and spine simultaneously while strengthening every muscle in your legs and core. But most adults can't do them. Why? 3 main restrictions: tight ankles from years in shoes, locked up hips from sitting, and weak glutes that have forgotten how to engage. The solution isn't forcing the squat. It's systematically addressing each restriction. Start with ankle mobility. Elevate your heels on a book or plates. This removes the ankle restriction, allowing you to learn the hip and spine mechanics first. Spend 5 minutes daily in this elevated squat position. Just sit there, breathe, and let gravity do the work. Next, work on hip opening. The 90/90 position is perfect for this. Sit on the floor with one shin in front of you and one shin behind, both bent at 90 degrees. This position opens the hip capsule in ways that no standing stretch can achieve. Hold it for 2 to 3 minutes per side while breathing deeply. Here's something most people don't realize. Your ability to squat deeply is directly connected to how you breathe. When you're stressed, anxious, or breathing shallowly, your pelvic floor tightens and your hip flexors grip. This makes deep positions nearly impossible. Proper breathing unlocks movement. When you inhale deeply into your belly, your diaphragm descends and your pelvic floor relaxes. This creates space in your hips and allows you to sink deeper into positions. Ancient practices like yoga understood this connection thousands of years ago. Try this experiment. Attempt a deep squat while holding your breath and keeping your belly tight. Now try again while breathing slowly and deeply into your lower abdomen. Feel the difference? That's the nervous system shift from protection mode to movement mode. The most powerful breathing pattern for mobility work is a 4-7-8 rhythm. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 7, exhale for 8-8. This activates your parasympathetic nervous system, telling your body it's safe to relax and explore new ranges of motion. Forget workout plans. You need a movement diet. Just like you eat multiple times throughout the day, you should move multiple times in varied ways. Research from NASA on astronauts showed that even intense exercise couldn't prevent muscle loss and bone density decline if they remained sedentary between workouts. Your movement diet should include ground sitting for 20 to 30 minutes daily, deep squat holds for 5 to 10 minutes total, can be broken up, hanging from a bar for accumulated 2 to 3 minutes, and walking for at least 30 minutes. Notice none of these are exercises. They're positions your body was designed to occupy regularly. The key is integration, not addition. Don't think, I need to add another workout. Think, I need to change how I exist throughout my day. Squat while watching TV. Sit on the floor during meals. Hang from your door frame while waiting for coffee. These micro practices accumulate massive benefits. Most people avoid movement because they're in pain. But here's the paradox. The movement you're avoiding is usually the solution to your pain. Obviously, this doesn't apply to acute injuries, but for chronic pain from restriction and compensation, movement is medicine. Your nervous system creates pain not because of damage, but because it perceives threat. When you can't move through a certain range, your brain interprets that restriction as vulnerability and generates pain signals. By gradually and safely expanding your movement capacity, you're literally teaching your brain that these positions are safe. This is why pain often decreases during movement, even if you're moving through the painful area. You're providing sensory input that contradicts the threat signal. Over time, with consistent, gentle practice, the pain often resolves completely as your movement capacity increases. But there's a critical rule. Honor the difference between discomfort and pain. Discomfort is the sensation of stretching, effort, or unfamiliarity. Pain is sharp, shooting, or intensifying. Push through discomfort. Back off from pain. This distinction allows progress without injury. If you could only practice 5 movements for the rest of your life, these would be them. Deep squats, floor sitting, hanging, crawling, and getting up from the ground. These movements maintain the full body capacity that predicts healthy aging. The squat maintains lower body mobility. Floor sitting preserves hip function and core strength. Hanging keeps your shoulders healthy and spine decompressed. Crawling coordinates your whole body and maintains spine mobility. Getting up and down from the floor tests and trains your overall functional capacity. A 2019 study followed 5,000 adults aged 50 to 80 for 10 years. Those who could perform all 5 movements maintained independence significantly longer, required fewer medical interventions, and reported higher quality of life. The predictive power was stronger than traditional markers like BMI or blood pressure. Let me give you a practical routine that takes just 10 minutes but changes everything. Do this every morning before anything else. It's non-negotiable for maintaining mobility as you age. Start on the floor. Lie on your back and hug your knees to your chest for 30 seconds. Roll to your side and sit up. Now go into child's pose, sitting on your heels, reaching forward, for 1 minute. From here, transition to a deep squat. Hold for 1 minute. If you can't go deep, elevate your heels. Next, transition to a 90-90 position, 1 minute per side. Then come to hands and knees and do 10 cat-cow movements, focusing on spinal articulation. Now step 1 foot forward into a low lunge, hold for 30 seconds, switch sides. Stand up and do 10 slow bodyweight squats, going as deep as comfortable. Finish with a 30-second dead hang from a bar if available, or 30 seconds of arm circles if not. Done. 10 minutes. Full body mobility addressed. Nervous system activated. Here's something interesting. Movement is more sustainable when it's social. In communities where floor sitting, squatting, and natural movement are cultural norms, people maintain these practices effortlessly. They're not exercising. They're simply living within their social context. You can create this for yourself. Instead of coffee meetings at a cafe, suggest walking meetings. Instead of sitting on the couch for game night, sit on the floor. When friends visit, offer cushions on the ground rather than chairs. You'll be surprised how quickly people adapt and even enjoy the change. There's also accountability. When movement practices are shared, you're far more likely to maintain them. Find a movement partner, join a mobility-focused community, or simply share your practice on social media. The social reinforcement creates consistency. Let's set realistic expectations. Week 1 will feel hard. Your body will be confused, maybe sore. You might question if this is worth it. Push through. By week 2, you'll notice small changes. Getting off the floor feels slightly easier. Your squat depth increases an inch. Month 1 is when it clicks. Movements that felt impossible now feel challenging but doable. You naturally choose to sit on the floor sometimes. Your body craves movement. By month 3, you've built new patterns. Your baseline mobility has increased significantly. Movements are comfortable. 6 months in, you're a different person. You move through your day with ease. That stiffness you accepted as normal is gone. You feel younger, more capable. A year in, you've reversed decades of movement debt. Your body functions like it's supposed to. This is your new normal. Everything I've shared is about prevention, not just correction. The time to build your movement practice is now, while you still can. Every year you wait, the adaptation becomes harder. Not impossible, but harder. Think about this. A 70-year-old who maintained mobility their whole life can still run, play with grandchildren, and live independently. A 70-year-old who ignored mobility needs assistance with basic tasks and lives in constant discomfort. Both aged the same number of years. The difference was daily choices compounded over decades. You're making that choice right now. Every day you practice these movements, you're investing in future freedom. Every day you skip them, you're accepting future limitation. It's not dramatic, it's mathematical. Small inputs, massive outputs over time. Here's my challenge to you. For the next 30 days, commit to just 10 minutes of floor time daily. Sit on the ground, practice squats, move through positions. Don't overthink it. Just spend time in these positions. Set a timer, put on a podcast, and explore movement. Track how you feel. Note what gets easier. Watch how your body responds. After 30 days, assess. I predict you'll feel so much better that continuing becomes automatic. That's when real transformation happens. When the practice becomes part of who you are, not something you have to do. Your body is extraordinary. It wants to move. It wants to be mobile. You just have to give it the opportunity. Start today. Your future self is counting on you. If this video opened your eyes to the power of movement, subscribe and hit the notification bell. I share science-backed mobility practices weekly that will change how you age. Your movement revolution starts now. Let's do this together.